Good afternoon, I'm Sherman Chow.
And I'm Ron Trevino. Thanks for joining us today. It's the day after the election, and there is a lot to cover.
We have the latest in local and state results and more on the legal fight now over voting issues in Harris County.
We have team coverage with Adam Bennett and Zach Tawatari live from the Harris County election headquarters at NRG.
And our Ugochi Iloka has more on the issues hundreds of voters faced yesterday. Let's start though with Zach, who has breaking news on the race for Harris County judge.
Sherman and Ron, that news coming down late this morning that Alexandra Mueller, who was challenging Harris County Judge Lena Hidalgo, conceding via Twitter and announcing it on that platform. And just within the last hour, Judge Hidalgo also making a statement on Twitter, which we want to show you. It reads, "Yesterday, the people of Harris County chose optimism over fear and people over politics. I want to thank each and every voter who showed up to make their voice heard this election. I also want to thank Ms. Mueller for a hard-fought campaign and her military service. Onward." As for Mueller, she said in part on Twitter, "While we did not accomplish our goal of changing leadership in Harris County, we were successful in elevating the profile of critical issues." It's no secret that it's been one of the most hotly contested races. Last night, Hidalgo spoke just before midnight at her Edo watch party. She didn't make a victory declaration at that point, but she did say she was optimistic because of the early results.
The past 4 years is part of what has me feeling so thrilled, so good on election night, even though we don't know, we don't have the full results yet. It's the work that we've done.
She now secures her second term. Hidalgo was Harris County's first female judge. She will hold a press conference at 2 p.m. today. And the process continues here at NRG as these votes continue to be tabulated, and we continue to monitor everything happening here. At NRG Arena, Zach Tawatari, let's send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Zach. And there is another close race in Harris County. Democratic challenger Leslie Briones appears to be taking the lead over incumbent Precinct 4 Commissioner Jack Cagle. You can see the numbers there on your screen. She has 52% of the vote right now, 48% for him. Briones served as a Harris County Civil Court judge. Cagle has served as Precinct 4 Commissioner since 2011.
But there are still so many ballots to count. Adam Bennett is live at NRG Arena where Harris County's votes are being counted. Adam, what is the latest now?
So, Ron, this morning, the final unofficial vote total from Election Day was published by Harris County, but there are still hundreds, maybe even thousands more votes to count. That is because any mail ballots that were postmarked by 7 o'clock last night have until 5 o'clock this afternoon to arrive at Harris County's election headquarters to be counted. Now, the results last night came in later than we typically were expecting. That's because the count started later because of legal action that kept the polls open past 7, their normal closing time. So from about 9 last night through 2:30 this morning, we saw a steady stream of election workers from 782 polling locations spread all over the county arriving here at NRG Arena. We saw them wheel their equipment inside. They scanned it in twice to make sure that everything was there, and then they certified the electronic ballot. Next, there were just 2 machines tabulating the more than 333,000 in-person votes cast here in Harris County, the nation's 3rd most populous county, just on Election Day alone.
I think we saw by and large 70, 80, 90% of our polling locations had a very good day. And there's a small percentage that we had some hiccups on, and we're going to take a look at why we had those hiccups and address it moving forward.
And Elections Administrator Clifford Tatum, who you just heard from there, that was his last on-camera briefing to reporters. That was about 12 hours ago. I just talked with his spokesperson a short time ago. She told me that the administrator went home to freshen up because he's been here all night long, but that she is planning on trying to have him available here to reporters sometime this afternoon. A lot of questions still left to answer. Now, besides those mail-in ballots that I mentioned earlier that have until this afternoon to arrive, there are also overseas ballots. Those have until 5 days after Election Day to arrive here, as well as military ballots. Those have until 6 days after Election Day. So still potentially a lot of votes left to count. Sherman?
All right, thank you, Adam. Likely the biggest story of the day out there. Thank you, sir. And you are looking at live streams of election workers counting ballots at the Harris County election headquarters there at NRG, along with Adam Bennett. Another long day ahead for those folks.
And joining us now is KHOU election law analyst Chris Feldman to break down this fight over Harris County elections. So, Chris, the Texas Supreme Court has basically put the fate of those provisional ballots cast after 7 o'clock last night on hold. So what happens next?
Well, the decision or ruling by the Texas Supreme Court really adds more confusion to the situation, and it really wasn't necessary from the perspective of the people that cast provisional ballots would have their ballots reviewed by the ballot review board, regardless of what the Texas Supreme Court did last night. It's really up to the ballot board to decide what to do with them. And then following that, it would be up to a candidate to challenge the election through an election contest after the ballot board reviews provisional ballots. All the Supreme Court did was say, we dissolve the Harris County District Court's ruling saying that anyone casts ballots after 7 p.m. must cast ballots as provisional ballots, which just means you put them to the side and have them reviewed by the ballot board. One way or the other, this issue will be taken up by the ballot board. All these ballots were provisionally cast. They have not actually been counted. There was plenty of time after last night to handle this for the ballot board to handle this. The Supreme Court's ruling, again, just seems to add confusion to the situation because at the end of the day, those ballots weren't going to be reviewed until 10, 12, 14 days down the road when they got to the ballot board.
Why do you think the Texas Supreme Court got involved then?
I mean, there are, an array of reasons why they may have gotten involved. Let's remember who brought this action, Attorney General Paxton, and he has been very critical of the way elections are run. He was at the January 6th insurrection. He sued other states to prevent them from having votes counted pursuant to their own laws. You might remember that from 2020. So there is certainly a political aspect to what was done because the way we run our elections has unfortunately become political. The Supreme Court and the state leadership has been hostile to Harris County and to Houston, and it kind of looks like politics.
All right, Chris Feldman, our election law analyst, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
As always, you can scan the QR code on your screen so you can get real-time results as they come in. We're also scrolling the results at the bottom of your screen.